Well, I don't know where Doug is, so I guess we're gonna have to start this episode.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of I Want to Believe You.
We're two skeptics out to discover the truth behind your paranormal claims.
Real stories from real people with real experiences.
I want to believe you.
Do you? We are your hosts, Doug and Becky.
And thank you for joining us for episode 5.
Today we got a few videos for you, as well as some pictures and some stories.
Oh, we're collecting all the juicy stuff, please.
We're going to start off with a video submitted by Marina.
So we have 2 videos from this submission, and one of them, they claim to see orbs in the video. So then they ask the person to film this again to see if they could see the orbs again. And apparently they were still there. So let's have a look, see what they're talking about.
And right off rip, you can see the orbs flying in front are what they were claiming to be orbs anyway.
Did you see that one? It like floated in and went away again. It was like it was camera shy. So...
Well, what's surprising though is when dust does fly in front of me, it's like I can go on with my day with pretending I didn't see it. So it's like I want to say, well, she didn't see it, but maybe she did.
And the pause at the end of this, that's kind of creepy. It looks like there's someone behind her.
Right there, yeah.
Isn't that weird?
That's strange.
That wasn't even mentioned, but whoa. I'm sure it's just like, I don't know, actually.
Let's watch that again. Let's see when that pops up. That's intriguing. Let's see.
So here's the orbs.
There's the orbs. Sweet dance moves.
Some epic dance moves, yep.
And right there, see,
Oh,
it's her
it's
head.
where she danced.
It's her head,
okay.
yeah, it's just okay.
It looks creepy.
No,
though,
when you
doesn't
mentioned
it?
that, I didn't really watch that ending when it stopped like that. So I seen it right when you said it, and I was like, oh my god.
That's real weird.
There's something right behind her. But
Okay.
no, you can tell that it was. Let's check out the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, she filmed it, watched it, seen orbs, and then she had her do this dance again so she could see if they would catch more. So let's check out the second one.
So now we get to check out some more sweet dance moves.
And not from me.
Thank God.
Here we go.
There you go, you can see them flying around.
There's definitely something there, like...
It doesn't look like dust because it's so sporadic.
And like you mentioned before, in the last video, sometimes we have submissions from people that we know and they are credible, so we use them. And it's hard to say that that's dust, knowing how
Clean this person
this
is.
person's a very clean person.
Yes.
So,
not a speck of dust in that house.
I'm sure if she thought that was dust, she wouldn't have been recording videos on that second one.
She would have been tidy in that room.
She would have had all the cleaning supplies out, yeah.
So yeah, but just play that one more time.
Just see it one more time,
Do you see what I mean from the
Yeah, I'm trying to learn these dance moves anyway.
See, that one was like, that one's a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Straight upwards. That one was a bit slow, and then it appears and disappears. How do you explain that one?
It's hard to explain. Again, orbs are one of those things that it's hard to put them in the realm of paranormal because even though we know this person's a very clean person and that they take care of their dust is weird like that. You could be super clean and there could still be dust flying around. Bugs. I don't think it's bugs in this case though. I know she's clean enough to not have bugs flying around, but definitely dust. It's very easy. If you have a window open in your house, the dust just comes in. Anything,
Mm-hmm.
But very interesting. And some of them were moving in ways that you could almost say that it seemed like it had a mind of its own,
Yeah, like that one, it just kind of appeared and it disappeared. Some of them were super fast, some of them were really slow.
Maybe those dance moves are just bringing in all the ghost fans.
And if it is dust, because we did an experiment the other day where we filmed dust up close, and it all moves in the same way, and it all looks the same. It doesn't disappear and appear again. It all just flows.
It does, yeah.
Nicely.
We posted that video. We had somebody that I personally know is a believer of ghosts called it out. Was like, that's dust. we knew it was dust, but yeah. So you can definitely tell when it's dust. Though that was an interesting.
It's
those were
hard
interesting
to
videos.
explain.
It is. Orbs are hard to explain. You can't. Me personally, I can't just put it down to paranormal. Some people might, but they are definitely hard to explain.
What would you rate this on a scare factor?
On a scare factor, I can't. Again, orbs do not convince me. They don't scare me. Even if I seen them on a video that I personally picked up, I wouldn't be scared of the orb because there's just so many ways to explain orbs naturally, like dust, bugs, stuff like that. So on a scare factor, I would probably give it like a 2.
A 2 is scare factor.
I know that's.
Well, it's not
Sorry,
scary,
Marina,
though,
but it's not.
It's not scary.
I mean, if one day we did find out that orbs are real, and that they do, they are indeed spirits. It would depend on the activity that happened in the house to me.
We should start rating on it as a. Do you think this is a ghost factor?
Hey, I like that idea.
Because some of them are scary and some of them obviously aren't. A lot of because apparently you get friendly spirits. So.
Yeah, you're right. Because if you rate a lot of these things on ghost or on scare factors,
a lot of it's going to be 0.
Sometimes it could actually, I could be convinced that it was paranormal and it just wasn't scary.
Mm-hmm.
So the scare factors, I think it's a ghost, but I'll have to stick with my number on the orb topic. Orbs.
Yeah.
I'd have to still say a 2, and it's just orbs for me. I'm just not convinced.
So a 2 on a scare factor and a 2 on a paranormal factor.
But on an entertainment factor, that was super entertaining. Nice dance moves. I give it a 10 out of 10.
I give that 15 out of 10 for the dance moves.
So good.
But I would personally, thanks for asking.
What would you give it?
I would give it a... Again, it's not that scary. And you keep pointing out how I always go one below you on the scare factor, and I'm really conscious about what I'm doing. So I would probably give it a... Again, it's not scary. Wow. So 0 out of 10 for scare. But paranormal factor, I would probably give that one a 3.5.
Yeah. See, again, so I said about 2. Again, it really depends on your opinion of the orbs. Like, if you think for sure, like, I can tell a difference for sure between a dust particle, a bug, and something that's paranormal, then yeah, then orbs might convince you a little more than they convince me. Me, I just have a hard time putting the orbs into the paranormal realm, or especially into the supernatural realm. They could be paranormal. I've seen some orb videos that I'm like, that is weird. The orb appeared in front of the camera, didn't just come out of the woodwork, but appeared, came over here, and then disappeared. And then I'm like, yeah, I can't.
There was one in this video that did that.
Oh, I didn't see that. I missed that.
Do you want me to show you quick?
Yeah, let's go back and check that out.
It's sort of up top in the middle. Wait for it. Did you see that?
I did see
bit
that one.
there? And there's another one. Boop. Did you see that bit there?
Yeah. Wow. So I didn't see that the first time. That's interesting. I'd probably put into the paranormal a little bit. Maybe I would. I'll change it. Well, I'll change it to a 3.5. I'll go up there with you. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go up. We'll call that 3.5.
Yeah. So thank you for submitting these videos.
Thank you so much. It's much appreciated.
And
Keep sending them.
We let some new dance moves as well. So.
Yes, and send us the dance moves too. Apparently, orbs love dance moves. So
they're probably like.
You can just invite her back over, have her do a new routine.
The orbs are like, yeah, dance party.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, so we're gonna move on now. We have another video uploaded here. We're calling it "Real Ghost in Hospital Caught on CCTV Camera."
Oh.
With hospitals, lots of people die in hospitals. So if there's gonna be paranormal activity, I feel like that would be a hot spot.
Prime location.
It'd be a hot spot.
There used to be an abandoned hospital here that apparently was very haunted, but it's gone now.
Yeah, where I'm from, there's a lot of abandoned hospitals that my friends like to go, break into and check out. I was never a fan of the trespassing thing because you can get in big trouble for that. But I'm sure there's, I'm sure that's where it all happens. All right, so let's bring this up.
Well, first of all, I can tell you this isn't CCTV. It's filmed on a phone.
Yeah. Why does it say CCTV? Unless they edit it. Let's just watch it.
Okay.
Let's see what it says. I think you're right. This is a phone.
This is definitely. It is. Yeah, it's definitely
moving.
someone recording.
Yeah.
Sound a little bit.
I'm starting to think I know why this was uploaded anonymously. I don't know about you.
Oh, orbs.
Oh, orbs, oof. It has nothing to do with that door being wide open over there.
Yeah, it's definitely just wind, you know. That's kind of spooky, though.
I mean, it's definitely spooky.
the way it's going so quickly.
If we took this, like, if I was going to take this seriously, I mean, I just feel like since they lied right off rip about the CCTV thing, I feel like...
Yeah, they probably know. This door probably does that all the time, and they're like, yes.
Either that, or they easily, like, somebody's on the other side shoving it.
It says strictly prohibited above the door as well.
Wow, it does. I didn't read that.
It's kind of creepy, though.
That is creepy.
Say this person, right, it's their first day on the job. Okay.
Okay.
What would you think? If that was you.
If it was my first day on the job,
Yeah.
and I was just kind of walking by the store and it started, like,
Freaking out.
and, like,
Yeah.
being pushed open, I'd be very spooked. I'd be spooked even if I thought somebody was on the other side of it. My first impression would be, why is that fucking door doing that?
It is strange, though, because at the start of the video you can see the door is open, but then it's kind of shielded over here.
Yeah.
So, but we don't know what's behind the door.
Don't. I personally feel like it's faked. Even if it is a prohibited area,
There could be someone behind it.
there could be somebody behind that.
Yeah, that's true. It's creepy though, like the doors are blacked out. Like for a video, it's, you know.
They're blacked out, but if you were fake, and look at this guy, he's just, wouldn't he be like terrified? It's like they waited for him to walk by, and now this. Wouldn't he be like, hey dude, watch this, look at this. Is this weird? Does this happen all the time? Or
Maybe he doesn't like him.
They're not friends. They just got into a fight like 5 minutes prior.
Yeah, it's creepy, but like I said, it can be wind, it could be someone on the other side of the door.
I want to rule out wind because of that. Usually if it's wind, it's just going to be like, it won't lurch it back and forth like that.
Yeah.
It's either something paranormal or there's a person on the other side of that. They lied about the CCTV thing. This is obviously a cell phone recording.
Maybe that's what they meant.
CCTV.
What does CCTV like
Cellular
stand for?
camera television.
This could be what they meant.
I don't think that was real. On a paranormal factor,
You're gonna go 0, aren't you?
I'm gonna go 0 only because lied about the CCTV is obviously a cell phone recording. It didn't start freaking out till after the pedestrian walked by, the stranger.
No, but you have to do it on a paranormal level from if you were in these people's shoes.
If I was in these people's shoes, but now I have to assume that it was real. Assuming that it was real and this happened, I would be scared shitless. It would easily be a 10 out of 10 for me if I was just randomly walking by and the door started doing that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't think to yourself that someone was behind it, or it was the wind or something. You personally.
I would right off rip. It depended on the circumstance. Like if it was me walking by and this happened and some dude just walked by, and the reason why I think it's set up is because I think there's somebody back there, and I think that the person who's holding the camera is in on it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be in on this unless I was trying to fake it to get views on YouTube or something.
Mm.
I don't think it's that scary. If I genuinely was the person walking by with the phone and it just started happening, then I would be scared, regardless if I thought someone was on the other side or not. Because I can't see on the other side of that door. I
Mhm.
wasn't part of the thing. It would scare me. It'd be a close 8 to 10 out of 10. Probably 8
On
out
the
of 10.
paranormal scale?
On the paranormal scale. Because it would be, in my opinion, not normal. Like, that door shouldn't be doing that. I mean, there's either somebody on the other side or it could be a ghost. Either way, it's paranormal. It's not normal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my opinion. But based off the video, do I think the video is legit? I think it's fake.
Yeah, me too.
What
But
about you? What do you think?
if I was gonna give it, if it was me, and I was trying to decipher if this was paranormal or not, I would probably give it. I would go for a 5 because I would just think it's someone on the other side dicking with me. But then again, I'd be like, oh, bit spooked.
But at the same time, it's like, why would he be on the other side just dicking with you? That other guy walked by and he didn't like start shaking it while he was there. And if you thought they were just trying to scare people, unless it's somebody that you personally knew that was like, hey, I just seen her in here, I'm gonna go over here.
It's probably the morgue behind there, if it's prohibited.
Probably. I mean, there's something back there.
It's got a padlock on it. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I see the padlock, yeah. I do see that. I'm still gonna I'll stick with the 8 out of 10
Mm-hmm.
with this one, assuming that it wasn't set up and that he was walking by and caught this. But I'm just gonna assume that what I really think is this is 2 people that set it up. It's fake. It's not real. I don't think it's real at all.
Imagine if it actually was.
Then I'd be scared. I'd have to write them a I'm sorry letter. Alright.
Okay, so they were some very interesting videos. They were fun to watch. So now we're moving on to the picture section. We have a couple of pictures sent in today from the same person, and there's also a little bit of background story behind it. So do you want to read the background story first?
Yeah, let me go ahead and get that up here. So these were sent in by a person under the name Wina. I'm assuming that's a female name. I'm not sure. I've never heard that name before. She goes on to say, "Hi, thank you for having me. Because I took this last night, I have several, but this one, you can see a face to the left, and it looks like a right pupil. But then there's another face and the other pupil. Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
We're gonna find out. Alright, so this is interesting, but not as interesting as they made it sound. To me, that just looks like a reflection from the light that's clearly shining from behind. What about you?
You think? It kind of goes off in a little curve, though. Looks like a caterpillar.
She said she's seen a pupil on one.
I can see a little sort of pumpkin face there. Like 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I see what she was talking about. I don't know what she means by pupil, but there are 2 distinctive little...
When you zoom in like that, that looks...
It's weird.
Looks like it looks like South Park.
It kind of does, yeah. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I still think it's like a reflection from some light, though. It's not... They don't look like the typical orbs that we would see in like the videos, to me, personally. These are different, unique. I feel like, you know, when you're watching a movie and they're like panning across and the sun's in the distance and it's like kind of pointing at the lens, and then you see like a bunch of dots show up and pan across the screen.
They're generally in a straight line though, aren't they? Where these are like curving off a little bit.
Like reflecting?
Off of what though?
The lens?
Yeah, but then it would be straight, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily, I don't think. I mean, reflections don't typically reflect straight. Like, they just hit something and reflect in whatever direction, you know? It's kind of like taking a mirror and holding it to the sunlight. And if it's reflecting that way, you're not going to see the reflection. But if I turn it this way and shine it in your eye, you're going to be like, fuck. You know, and it's going to be... But what I'm saying is we're seeing it through the lens right now. Like, so it'd be like off the lens and going, you know?
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just what I see. I don't think that's scary, paranormal. It's not. It's perfectly normal to me.
What about the other picture that they sent?
Let's look at that. Let's bring that one up. it looks like I zoomed in. I zoomed into that other one. I was all clicking around and stuff.
Oh, this isn't a separate picture. It's just they've zoomed in.
It's
on
the
it.
same picture, just zoomed in.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I do see the pupils. It looks like a South Park character, doesn't it?
it does. I see what they're talking about.
Oh, there's a bit creepy.
It's
The
creepy.
pupils. When you're this distance from it, it's
I
like
think
it's staring at us.
I think the pupils are more orb-like than what she's claiming to be orbs here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's anything. On a paranormal scale, I'm giving it a straight up 0.
Really?
Yep, 0.
What are those little dots then?
Sometimes I don't know is a perfectly fine answer. I have no idea. I don't know how light works 100%, but I'm sure it is something. I'm sure there's an explanation for that.
Well, I think it's Kenny
Think it's Kenny?
because he dies all the time.
It's the ghost of Kenny.
Yeah. I would give that one a 4 on the paranormal scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that.
What would you guys give
For
it?
once, you're more scared than I am.
I'm not scared. I'm doing a paranormal scale because I just think those little pupils are a bit strange. If they weren't there, I'd be like nothing. But
I'll give it that. I mean, it's that part of it's kind of strange. I don't know how to explain those. I'll just have to stick with the truth. I don't know. Would I call it paranormal? No. No, I don't think so. What about you? Do you think it's paranormal? Let us know. All right, so we'll move on to one that I think might be a little bit more spooky, just from the title of it. We are calling it In the Hospital.
Another hospital.
Like I said before, if there's going to be paranormal stuff going on, it's going to be in an area where death happens a lot. I feel like when people die, so, if they do go on to live in another realm, it's going to be like they're going to start off where they died. So
Yeah.
let's take a look.
Out of the body into the hospital.
Yep.
I love it. I wish they wouldn't circle it.
Yeah,
I wish they
because
would send the original and the circled image.
right.
But yeah, no.
They didn't on this one. So
Yeah.
I see what they've circled.
That's like a bin.
It does look like a bin.
Or
It does.
a trash can.
I could. It's kind of like what we were talking about in the last couple episodes when you see like a face and the human brain has a way of like developing the face for you so you see it. I feel like it's the same thing but with the whole body this time. Like I think it does that. It's just naturally we do that. But I see what you're saying. Like in the midsection here, it looks kind of square.
Good dome head. Or that, or it's a baby juggernaut.
A baby juggernaut, you said?
From X-Men.
Yeah. Yep. It's just like the little ghostly
Let's
looking
zoom
one.
in and have a look.
Let's take a look. We're gonna zoom in here.
See, it's a baby juggernaut.
I can see what they're saying because it looks like a spooky girl being like, like.
Zoom in a little bit more.
Let's
You
take a
can.
I can see what they're talking about.
I can see legs.
I see the legs, and it looks like the toes are kind of. Well, they call it pigeon-toed. Where it's like their toes are. I see that. Yeah, I see that. And like I said, it kind of looks like the old school hello. Like
Hey.
hey. Wow. I still see the bin though on
I
the
can
wall.
see the bin, yeah.
And
Or, also, sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay.
I can also see like it might be something going through the bin. You can see 2 black legs, like shadowy black legs sticking out, and then a black arm sticking out, and another black arm, like so it's walking through the bin. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see that. Yep, I see the arm here. I see the other arm here.
No, the black arm lower down than the white bit you just pointed at.
Right here. Oh wait, way down here.
No, right from there. Right. That bit there, that black bit. I feel like that's the other arm. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
That's what I can see now. And
then
like they're
what's
walking.
this?
The bin's dick or something. I don't know what that thing is. Maybe that's the ponytail. I don't know.
I do see what you're saying though. Yeah, like these could be the arms. Yeah.
Like it's a little kid running.
I really feel like to me the only thing that I really see that looks unnatural or like more natural, I mean, in this is the legs like that. But that could be anything. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's something on the wall here.
That's definitely a bin.
Yeah, like
you can
there's a
see like
bin
the
there.
bin liner, the bin lid.
It's just not clear enough to tell. I wish some of these pictures would just be clear. I mean, with the way cameras are these days, I swear, like you can get a much better picture than that. and again,
I don't know. If you
like
look
you
at
said,
it,
if they would have sent us the original,
because
it
because
would have probably been the pixels would have been better. We would have been able to zoom in.
as soon as you edit something, it automatically decreases the quality of the
Exactly. So if you have the original of this, please send it in.
But
Still spooky. Paranormal scale. If it was me that walked in and I seen that, and I don't even know. I think I would have had to approach it first and see what the hell it was.
okay, you took the picture, you approached it, and then there was a bin on the wall, but like the other bits around the bin weren't there.
Weren't there? And then I went back and reviewed the photo. Yep, I would probably give it like a 4 out of 10.
A 4 out of 10.
Because it would be kind of questionable, like I wonder what caused that. But at the same time, it's a hospital, as you can see. I mean, usually they keep them pretty clean, so it could be a reflection off the floor, from the floor. You can see reflections over here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a reflection of whatever's behind the bin. So I would still kind of question it though. So I'd give it a 4.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
It was me personally taking the picture, and I walked over there and saw nothing but the bin. I would probably give it a 6 because I can see the little legs and the little arms. And it's like it's running into the bin.
It's, from the picture, it does look pretty spooky. We did zoom in, and I mean, you can clearly see what looks like. It looks like it could be like, in my opinion, it looks like some little girl or something.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a child.
Like
doesn't
a child, yeah.
Mm.
Interesting.
But it's just like a black shadow, though. You don't often really see that.
It's definitely more convincing than the last photo. I'll tell you that.
That's a good one, though.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, hospitals always, in my opinion, will always give it more credibility because it's in a place of the dead. You know what I mean? People die in those things every day. So if they are real, that's where they're gonna be. That in the attic.
They love it. They love to live in the attic.
That's where they like to go to live.
What would you guys rate this one in the hospital?
Give us your rating. Because it is spooky. I'll give it that. Alright. So, pretty interesting pictures. I wasn't convinced on either of them. Again, pictures aren't very convincing. I mean, they can be edited. I feel like stories are even better than pictures because they can get super bizarre with stories, but you can at least tell when they're being legit.
Mm-hmm.
Images are super hard, and especially when we're in a day where cameras can pick up a lot of stuff and they're sending us images that are just super pixelated. It's weird. But anyway, we'll move on to stories.
Story time.
It's story time. We'll start off with a story that we have titled, Mom Said I Was Killed on a Train. Yeah, this is an interesting one, it sounds like. Alright, and it reads, let me start off by saying this. In my whole 24 years of life, I have never been on a train. Roller coasters? Most definitely. But an actual train? No fucking way. From the time I was little, when my grandma and mom would take me to Six Flags in St. Louis in the summers, I was beyond exhausted by the time I'd get there, simply from the sleepless night, tossing and turning from pure excitement of what I got to do the next day. But I always did what every kid did between the ages of 7 and 12 does. I had a blast at the park, then was asleep as soon as I hopped in the back seat of the truck when we left, not to wake up until we pulled in the driveway. Anyways, I was never scared of roller coasters, not even the ones with loops. I was always the one leading whoever was with us down the long line you'd have to go through to get to the ride. One by one, and coaster after coaster, I always knew that usually about halfway through our visit, I'd be chicken shit for a certain ride that still to this day, I've never had the balls to get on. The goddamn train that takes you around the park.
What? That's so weird.
That is weird. I mean,
it's like a phobia.
yeah, it must be just like there must be just terrified of trains. I mean, if you can get on these roller coasters, and especially at Six Flags, these roller coasters are pretty monstrous. They're crazy. They do the loops, they do everything. So you would think that'd be terrifying, but the goddamn train that takes you around the park, it's what did it.
It's like I know people that don't mind. I've seen them get on roller coasters and rides, but if they get on a train and they go backwards, they have to sit on the other side of the train.
That, I feel like that's something to do with just abnormal, you know. That's interesting.
But
though.
yeah, this is like a phobia. I'm gonna put this down too so far.
So far, phobia. They go on to say, that's right, the fucking choo-choo train. Why? I cannot tell you, for the life of me, a single reason even possible as to why the hell I'm so terrified of trains. Now fast forward around a decade to the time I'm 20 years old. Alright, so we're going to fast forward to 20 years old from 12.
Okay.
I wonder what could have happened in between there. I live in a small town in southeast Missouri, and my mom lives in the house right next door. Every so often, I'd go next door and watch TV with her and my baby sister if I got bored. She also finally came to terms with the fact I smoke weed. Oh. Smoke a little weed, you'd be able to get on a train, no problem. And when my sister was visiting my grandparents across town, I'll sometimes go share a blunt with my mom. To be blunt. But this time in particular, it was all three of us. I'm laying on the couch. My sister is at her princess table in the corner playing with something. And Mom just came in from the kitchen with the plates of tacos. I'm sorry. With the plates of taco salad. So good. You make me some taco salad.
We'll make some taco salad.
That she had just whipped up for us. She sits down, and I randomly had on that show, I Used to Be Alive. I'm not sure I've heard of that.
I don't think I've heard of that. It's probably like one of those things, I'm just guessing, where people are born again.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, like a past life type of thing.
I'm just guessing.
And based off
off
the way the story's going, that could definitely be it. If that's not the name of it, I apologize. But please correct me if you know the show that I'm talking about.
No clue.
I have no idea. About 15 minutes into it, after she sits down and said this reminds me of what you told me when you were about 3 years old.
Oh.
Here we go. This is when it happens. Thinking she was talking to my sister, I turned my head from the TV and she was looking at me. I said, huh? She then went on to tell me that when I was a 3-year-old, I randomly started talking about my other family.
I've heard of this. This happened to me before, but carry on. I'll tell you later.
Apparently, from what she told me, my two sisters, my mom, aunt, and our cat were all headed somewhere and were killed after our train crashed.
That's weird.
Oh.
I got chills.
At first I was like, ha 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 ha. That's hilarious, thinking she was fucking with me. But then she swore to God that I randomly said that when I was 3 years old. I'm sorry, I said that funny. But then she swore to God that I randomly said that when I was 3 years old. In that moment, something made sense that I've never in my life been able to find reasoning for. My fear of trains.
Weird. They do say that phobias that you can't explain come from your past life. Like, I have a phobia of buttons. I don't know why. I feel like maybe I choked on one in my past life or something.
Oh, maybe. That's, the past life thing is one of those subjects that, again, it's hard to just be like, yeah, it's real. But many people have had stories of, like, vividly remembering something that had happened to them. Especially when you're at, I know, like I've said it before, kids have vivid imaginations in general anyway, but very active, but still, it's very spooky and crazy. The detail. So it goes on to say, can someone help me with this? Could she be serious? I'll be 25 this year and still think about this pretty often. It freaks me out.
Okay, so before we talk about this, right, so I think I've probably told you this before, but so everyone at home, we were in the car once, and my niece, she's 21 now, but she was in the back of the car, and she must have been about 3 years old as well. She could barely talk as it was. She just knew, like, the basics. And she was just sitting there, and she was going, the worms were my friends. We were like, what are you talking about? She's like, the worms were my friends. And she was naming, she was like, I had 3 sisters, and she was naming these names. She'd never heard of these names before, like not on TV, not anyone that she knew. They were just she goes like, and she goes, my name was Leanne, and she never had heard that name in her life. Like no one that she knew, no one on TV, and it was the weirdest fucking thing because.
So bizarre. That's what I'm saying about the details too. It's one thing to come up with this stuff. Like I would totally expect a kid to have like be story timing me. But
and it was like she was buried because she was saying the worms are my friends.
It's just the details of it. That's when you're like that's when it gets really questionable. Like I can't explain that. Like.
So it's weird, like this story right now.
I mean, you could say that they might have seen something on TV, but at that age, I mean, they do say kids do like retain information. They hear something. They soak it in like a sponge, stuff like that. But it's just it's just spooky, And then you hear stories like this. The person says, I've had a fear of trains my whole life, and I have no clue why. I've never even been on a train. I can ride a roller coaster, but the fucking train ride, it's just so bizarre. Yeah, that's See, I like this kind of story because instead of it being about like, oh, I seen a ghost and I swear to God, it's kind of like about. I'm telling you, I'm terrified of trains, and I don't know why. And then my mom told me this one day, and it's all starting to make sense to me. Like, could it be this? That's spooky and very, in my opinion, super paranormal. I guess if I had to like put this on a scale up, I'd give this a solid like 8 out of 10 on the paranormal scale because I have no reason to think this person's lying about their fear of trains, and then for them to. They're 25 years old, and this has just been bothering them for a long time. That one day their mom, told them, when you were 3 years old, you said this. I don't remember a damn thing that I said when I was 3 years old, so I can believe them when they're like, I don't remember saying that. Like, I thought she was talking to my sister. I turned my head, and she was talking to me. And then you're just like, on a train? And then immediately, I'm sure that they were like, holy shit, like, it's all making sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I would put it up there. I would give that a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Because like I said, this is what hasn't happened to me personally, but like hearing my niece and I was there, and she just come out with it. It was the weirdest thing. She's like, the worms are my friends. Like, what are you talking about? And I think she did say when they buried me, the worms are my friends. They spoke to me or something like that.
And again, I've heard of these stories too before. I've never seen the TV show they were talking about here, the I Used to Be Alive or whatever they said. But I've seen other shows that had people talking about experiences with children and with themselves with past lives where they swear they had lived before, their name was this. They have unbelievable detail about who they used to be, and it's just
strange.
It's strange. It's super weird. I mean, I'm kind of jealous because I would love to know what the hell I was doing in the past life.
Well, to be stuck with me now, you probably were a pretty horrible person.
Oh, that's not true. I must have been a saint.
But yeah, no. I have to ask my niece actually if she remembers. I'm sure she doesn't. No, nobody remembers anything they say when they were 3. But I bet she doesn't know. No one's ever told her.
It would be interesting to follow up on that. Maybe we can do a little follow up on next episode about the niece's experience.
Yeah, I'll definitely ask her, but do you remember this? It's just it was the weirdest thing.
No, that's weird. That's very strange.
Yeah. It's also like when people say, like, organ donations, when someone gets someone else's organs and they have, like, weird memories pop up.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, it's almost like they took a part of that person, Especially when it's, like, heart transplants or, But, like, anything, yeah. I've heard of that, too. It's very weird.
Yeah, and they just get these random memories popping up from this other person. It's unexplainable, Like, I would love to, like I said, I would love to experience something like that for myself.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Yeah, so very interesting story. I wish that we had more like that. That one's like, those are the kind of ones that really intrigue me because they're not speaking about ghosts. And paranormal don't just have to be ghost. Anything can be paranormal, like anything that's out of the normal. Really.
Aliens, Bigfoot.
It's anything that just is unexplainable by normal nature, basically. Alright, so we do have another story for you. Did you want to read this one?
Yeah, I'll read it. Okay, so this is from Claire. And Claire says, when I was 6 months pregnant, before that, She's right, 6'M pregnant. I thought she was like 6 meters pregnant. I'm like, that's a damn big baby.
When I was 6 meters
that's
pregnant.
paranormal. Sorry. So, when I was 6 months pregnant, I was pulled down my bed under my blankets. My partner was fully asleep, snoring his head off, and didn't notice a thing. 2 weeks later, one of my best friends who lived in the house in front of us, we lived down the end of the longest driveway. She said the same thing happened to him. Oh, sorry, said the same thing happened to him. He was 28 years old, big man, and he said he sat in the corner crying for the few hours it took to get the light out, because he was too scared to leave the room. To get the light out? What does she mean by that?
This is one of those. I feel like maybe autocorrect got her on that one.
Okay.
That's
okay. So he had marks on his ankle from where he was grabbed. Obviously, I freaked out because I hadn't told him it had happened to me weeks before, until he told me what happened. Also, soon after I had said baby, I had a very clean apparition show up. I don't know if she is connected / attached to my partner or daughter, because she watches both of them sleep, but I'm the only one who can see her, and she never hurt or done anything to either of them. She's just very, very clearly watches them sleep. She very clearly watches them sleep. Interesting. What do you think about that?
I feel like it was unfair to read that one after that last. That one didn't follow very well. Let's see.
I personally don't think this is true.
I don't think it's true. It's very jumbled. 20, and let me just make it clear. It doesn't matter how big you are. You could be 28, big, huge, jacked, crazy motherfucker, and still be a pussy when it comes to the paranormal stuff, and you could be frightened. You know what I mean? Like, but beliefs don't. I mean, you know, there's no size regulation. You know, you can be
like
anybody.
me. I'm 5 foot. I'm tough as fuck.
Tough as nails. But yeah, there's so to be like he was 28 years old and a big man, that does not give any credibility to the story. You know, people have said, you know, like they felt like they were being grabbed. I used to live in a house, and I remember this. It was a spooky place. Like it even spooked me out, and I think me and my brother, and we had a couple friends over that were hanging out. We were just drinking. And all of a sudden I heard one of them in the kitchen like crying, and it was the most bizarre thing, like a full-grown man crying. And he was a big dude, like they were all roofers, and they worked out, and they were, you know, so like that gave it didn't matter. I walked in the kitchen, he was crying, saying that I'm spooked, I don't want to be here anymore. I feel like somebody's watching me. And I'll give him that, he was buzzed up, but still like he was in tears, like they were actual tears. So I was just sitting there thinking like, bro, get the fuck out of my house. But no, so you know, your size don't matter, the age don't matter either, so it doesn't give any credibility to it. I think that the idea of being grabbed, we went over this, like where I felt like tugging on my shirt before, that's all just you know,
Psychological.
It's psychological. It's interesting. I mean, I can't sit here and say maybe they weren't grabbed by something, but there's no evidence of that.
It's like the feeling of being, you know, when you fall asleep and you feel like you're falling. You could put it down to that as well.
Yeah.
You could have had that notion, and then you could have slid down your bed just whilst you were asleep.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me, where you wake up and you're like, whoa, like in your dream you were falling, and
maybe it's because every time that happens, you're actually being dragged by a ghost. Thought about that before?
They're onto something.
I also feel like where she says that guy was also grabbed and had marks on his ankles, that was me. I'd be taking a fucking picture of that.
Yeah. Whereas they didn't send any picture evidence.
I'd be
Stories like these,
yeah.
I mean, they have a huge burden of proof. You want to make huge claims like this. In order to get me to believe that, I need something, even picture evidence, and I probably still wouldn't be 100% convinced with that, but I would be definitely not as like convinced it wasn't true as I am now. Like right now I'm like, there's no fucking way. And the thing is that when somebody's trying to like make the story bigger than it is, they do things like I said before, 28 years old, big man, like they try to beef it up like as if it's gonna help the credibility.
It's such a short, like, vague story as well compared to that last one. They went into all the background, all the detail, and I believe that was 100% true.
Yeah, this one don't scare me at all. I don't think it's anything paranormal. I'm giving it a 0
I
out
would
of 10.
give it a 0 too.
I think it's just. I think you're right. I think it's just jumbled mess, and they were not being honest.
Especially with, like, baby brain as well. Have you heard about that baby
The
brain? It
thing
makes
is,
your brain do weird things
I feel like
when you're pregnant.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, I've heard about that. I feel like there's something in here that she contradicted herself with, though. When she says, dragged out of bed, this guy had marks on his ankles, and then she goes on to say right here, she never hurt or done anything to either of them. She just very clearly watches them sleep. Leaving marks on people is hurting them.
No, but she's talking about her partner and her child. Watching them sleep, she's talking about her partner and the child.
Oh, okay, so she's saying it didn't hurt either of them.
Just didn't like the neighbor.
Yeah, but yeah, just mostly just, yeah. Wonder what the neighbor did. Dickhead. 28-year-old big man.
Who does he think he is?
Yeah, I don't think that one's. I'm not gonna.
I don't think it's real
I'm not gonna
genuine.
justify that one with a rating at all.
Unfortunately, you can tell. That one
Yeah.
was one of the ones.
Some of the stories, I think we gave it a scarier name than what the story actually is.
Yeah,
You know?
like I said,
Dragged out of bed.
we just skim them to see, and then we read them, like, obviously right now to you guys. So we don't know exactly what they were going to talk about, but
Yeah, we didn't skim this one good enough.
we did not skim this one good enough. But I don't know. You guys might have had something similar happen to you at home, and if so, please let us know.
If you've had
If we're wrong,
Yeah, if you've had a incident that relates, and you can swear that this kind of stuff does happen, especially if you have pictures, please send it in. Yeah, I mean, this is just my opinion. Like, I just don't think it's real. This one, and it definitely could have to do with that last story. You can't follow that.
you can't. That was a good one. That was really good. Okay, so that's all we have time for today. There were some good videos, good pictures, even better stories. Well, one story was really good. So last time when we finished, I said that we were thinking about ordering a haunted doll because we want to go out and do ghost hunting videos so we can try and find our own evidence. Obviously, we can't at the minute because of the lockdown. So we've ordered ourselves a haunted doll. Now, if it's haunted or not is another story. I'm sure it's probably not, but hopefully it is, because that would be awesome, but also not awesome at the same time. Yeah, so we've got a friendly one, apparently. It was a, I think, 9-year-old girl or something.
8-year-old.
Yeah,
Something like that.
8-year-old. Apparently she likes to move stuff, and she watches TV, and I'll give you all a brief, an actual summary when she gets here.
We're gonna get along just fine.
So we're gonna do some experiments with her. We're gonna record her for 24 hours. If she does move, we're gonna be like, ugh. But then we're gonna put it down to like you said, like wind or whatever. We're also gonna put her in a box, so there's nothing that can be interacting with her or anything, and see if she moves within the box.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if she does move, she's moving straight to the bin.
Well, if she's friendly though, we have to take care of her.
We'll name her Casper. And she's moving to the bin.
The website did say that she interacts with pendulums and Ouija boards, which we don't have yet. We want to save that for the future. Because another thing, I don't believe Ouija boards are actually a thing. Well, obviously they're a real thing, but I don't believe that they
Do anything.
do anything.
Yeah, it's not a real way to communicate with the dead. I don't think so.
So,
We'll see.
like, for us, we like to go and watch videos on YouTube about haunted things. And we want to believe it's genuine, but because it's not actually us, we don't believe it's true. So, you can take our word for it. If anything weird happens, it's going to be genuine.
Yeah, I'm not out here to bullshit you. I'm out here to figure this out.
Yeah, we're out here to find the truth, damn it.
Yeah, if we upload anything and we catch something, it's gonna be genuine. Like, it's not There's no doubt about that.
So unfortunately, there's probably going to be about 24 hours footage of this doll just sitting there doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, don't be upset if you watch this video and it's just a doll just... It'll be spooky enough, though.
we could live stream her.
Ooh. How would you like that?
Would you like to see a live stream of a haunted doll? Just doll.
Then you'll know if something happens, it's genuine.
And then you could let us know if she moves or not, and we'll just have the chat when we'll be watching TV. Like, she must like this show because her head's just turned and started watching with you.
If this thing moves and you see it and you message us while we're just sitting here, you're gonna see just like the doll disappear, like on live stream.
You're like,
yeah.
Stop being it. To
I'll
death.
just come flying through, tackle it.
The spirit comes out and possesses you.
Kicks my ass. Yeah, you just see me flying around.
But yeah, so that's what's happening, guys.
Yep. And like we said, we're ready to do our own ghost hunting. I want to go out there and convince myself. I mean, I love getting the videos and the stories, but to get out there and to actually be able to do our own investigation would probably be the best thing that we could do, because the ultimate goal here is to convince ourselves that the paranormal, that maybe even one day to convince myself that even supernatural. I mean, I don't see that happening, but if I can figure out that ghosts are indeed real, then that's definitely gives credit to supernatural. So thank you guys for watching, and if you did like this video, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any experiences that you'd like to submit, along with any photo or video evidence, it is desired but not required. Please feel free to submit by email at want2believeyou@gmail.com, or you can get on Facebook, leave it in our comments, or send us a private message if that's what you would like to do. We're very interested in hearing your stories. We need anything to help convince us, because I want to believe you. Do you?
I do. Do you?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.